Musical musings, musical musings, musical musings, musical musings.
Hello and good afternoon, everyone, and welcome back to the latest episode of Musical Musings, airing every Wednesday at 1 p.m. This program is broadcast from Rutgers University of Technology, Pranicon, and I will be bringing it to you in two parts. In the first part, I will introduce an artist and a song to you, and we'll talk a little bit about the artist, talk a little bit about the song, maybe discuss its main themes, like what it's all about. Then, in the second part, after we listen to the song, we will analyze the lyrics, and we will focus on anything difficult, difficult vocabulary, slang, idioms, anything that might be hard to understand. All right, let's get to the show.
Musical musings, musical musings, musical musings, musical musings.
Welcome, everyone. My name is Gary Gray, and I am your host for Musical Musings. I'm an American English teacher here at Rutgers University of Technology, Pranicon. I've been teaching here for over 8 years now, and I sometimes do like to incorporate music into my classroom. I think it's helpful to expose the students to cultural things, such as music, movies, television programs. And the reason for that is we don't often get, common things that we use in language, like slang or idioms. We don't often get that through our textbook. We do have a textbook we use. Mostly we're teaching grammar, though, and some vocabulary. Grammar and vocabulary. Well, if you want to actually communicate with someone, you have to know how they speak. You have to be familiar with slang, idioms, colloquialisms, things like that. So sometimes I do like to introduce music into the classroom. And that's also why I've decided to host this program. So we've been at this program for almost 3 years now. Not quite that long yet. We still have, I'm just looking at what week we're on here. We've still got a couple more months to go, a few more months until we get up to 3 years, but we're well over 2.5 years now, or actually close to 2.5 years. So we have maybe almost 6 months to go before we get to 3 years. So we have a little ways to go. But we've been doing it for more than 2 years. And I usually do try to do different artists every time. Sometimes that gets a little difficult now that we've been doing this program for so long. And I don't mind repeating an artist once in a while, just because they may be an artist I like. They may have a lot of good songs, so why not? But I do try to generally do a different artist every time. And today we are, in fact, doing a new artist. We are going to be doing The Spinners, and the song by them that we will be featuring is Rubberband Man. Sometimes we put the in front of it. I think officially the name has the in front of it. I think it's the Rubberband Man. So that is the song we are doing today. All right, so first of all, a little bit about the Spinners. They're from Detroit, originally from Detroit. They formed in 1954, although they were not called the Spinners at that time. And they still continue to perform today, although I will say that they don't have any of their original members. We've talked about this in the past with some bands who replace members along the way. And honestly, to me, it's not even really still the Spinners if they don't have any of their original members, because no one that formed the group is still in it. It's a totally different cast of characters. So as far as I'm concerned, the Spinners are not around anymore. Now, in fairness, you could see how this could happen, right? You switch out one person, and they may have people with the band now that have been with the band for 20, 30, 40 years. The band is 71 years old, so they could have people that have been in the band for a long time. Still, it's not the same band as what formed. In fact, actually, they changed out one of their members early on. But when I say it's not the same band, I mean totally not the same band, not the same group. None of them are there anymore. Now, I will also say in fairness to them that this only just recently happened also. Their last original member just retired in 2023. I didn't check his age, but I mean, that's 69 years after the band formed. He must have been in his 80s. He must have been quite an old guy. Probably in his mid to late 80s at that, when you think about it. If you do the math there, if he started in the group even when he was like 16, he would be 85. Wow. So in fairness to them, as far as not having any of their original members, yeah, they formed in 1954, so come on. You can't really expect many of them to be even alive, let alone still with the band. So yeah, the last one just retired, though, in 2023. As we record this program, it's late 2025, so that was a couple years ago. Their last member retired, their last original member. Okay, so I did say that when they formed in 1954, they did not form as the Spinners. They were originally known as the Domingos. They changed their name to the Spinners in 1961. However, it's generally, like if you look them up on Wikipedia, it says 1954 till now for the Spinners. It's generally considered the same band because it was essentially the same members. They did have one band member that left pretty early on, and they added another person. But that was even early on when they were still the Domingos. So really, when they switched, it really was just a name change. They didn't change any members. So, so they became the Spinners in 1961. And honestly, if you look up their history, I would have had to go to some other sources and do more research, because it doesn't actually say that in the history that I found. It doesn't say when they changed their name. So it could have been 1960, something like that. I don't know. I'm not sure. I would have had to have done a little more research. All it says is that they came out with their first single. A single means when you issue one song by itself. They came out with their first single as the Spinners in 1961. So I'm assuming that's when they changed their name. Okay, so they were a very popular group back then. I don't know if I should call them band or not. Obviously, they had a band with them, but a lot of them were just singers. They were just singers, really. So I should just call them a group. So they were a really popular group back then. They had 21 hits that made the chart. Now, when I say the chart, I'm talking about the Billboard Hot 100 in the United States. So they do the Billboard in other countries, in Australia. They do it in the UK. They do it other places. They also break it down. Like you might have modern contemporary. You might have rock. You might have R&B. You might have country. They break it down. But the kind of best and biggest one, the most important one, is the Billboard Hot 100. That's just out of all songs, the top 100. And the U.S. is the best one to look at because that's the largest market. I don't say that just because I'm from the U.S. No, I'm not trying to be arrogant, like, oh, the U.S. is most important. No, it just has the most English-speaking people in it. More than Australia has, more than the UK has, more than Canada has. Canada does their own list as well. So it's just the biggest market. So that's why I say it's the most important. So again, they had 21, and they had 7 that made the top 10. Now, the only reason I would say that I wouldn't consider them even more popular than maybe some of the most popular groups is they really struggled to get like a number one hit or several number one hits. Like the really popular bands had multiple number one hits. They only had one number one hit, and they didn't even do it by themselves. So it's hard to say who really gave them that number one. Was it them or the artist they were performing with? Because she was very famous as well, and her name was Dionne Warwick. That song was Then Came You, so they performed that with her. So really, as far as them by themselves, they only managed to get to number two and only did it twice. Now I say only. That's still pretty darn good, right? Number two on the list. So yes, they were very popular. I'm just saying maybe not top tier as far as the most popular, most famous bands of all time. They're kind of maybe the second tier. So still really good. Had two number two hits. One of them was Working My Way Back to You, a song which I think most people in America, maybe some of the younger people don't know that song anymore, but anyone over like 30, 40 years old, especially 40, probably knows that song, even though it came out before someone that's 40 years old was even born, probably. Let's see, 40 years old would be... no, I think it came out a little later than that. No, it was 85. No, that would be 85. Yeah, that came out before then. Yeah, about 10 years before then. But that's how popular it was. That it still got played, like, well after the song was really popular. Like, I heard it on the radio plenty of times, and it came out before I was ever born. No, it didn't. I'm old. It came out after I was born, but not by much. I was a little tiny child when it came out, so I certainly don't remember it when it first came out. But I've heard it on the radio plenty of times. Everyone knows that song, Working My Way Back to You. It's a good song. It's a good song. But the other number two that they had is the one we're doing today, and it is Rubberband Man. All right, so I've already talked too long on our first half of our program, so we're not going to talk too much about the song itself, and that's okay. There's not too much to talk about. It's a very simple song. It's about going out and enjoying music. Now, you may wonder, well, where do they get the song name from? That's a weird song name. Rubberband Man. What does that have to do with music? Okay, so I'll explain. First of all, the song came out in August of 1976. It was originally, or it was derived from a song, because I think they had to change it, because I imagine the chorus would have been different, because when you listen to the chorus, obviously the name of the song is Rubberband Man. So I believe it evolved from a different song. The other song was called The Fat Man. And you can see in the lyrics, when we get to the lyrics in the second half of our program, you will see that it does talk about a short, fat guy. And he is the Rubberband Man. So, I said it has to do with liking music. Well, what does that have to do with a rubber band? Well, you can kind of make sounds with a rubber band sometimes. I'm not sure you can make really music with it, but okay, that's the idea of the song, is that this short fat guy, this short fat man, is making music with a rubber band. And apparently, just based on the lyrics, the entire band is using something rubber, because they call the band the Rubber Band, and he's the Rubber Band Man. So a rubber band, in case you don't know what that is, because sometimes we use different words for it, like an elastic band. It is like if you buy soup that comes in a bag, they have to tie the top off with the stretchy thing. That's a rubber band. That's a rubber band, okay? So that's what we're talking about. And so they're making music with a rubber band. And that's all the song is about. It's about enjoying the music. Okay, so let's go ahead and get to the song. For those of you on YouTube, as always, we cannot embed the video for copyright reasons, so we will give you a link in the upper right. Please click on that. After that's over, you can click back here for the second half of the program. Everyone else, if you're listening on streaming or radio, obviously we're a radio station. We can play the music, so you should be able to listen just fine. All right, so let's get to the song.
Musical musings, musical musings. musings, musical musings, musical musings.
Welcome back, everyone. All right, so that is just a song about enjoying music. That's all it's really about. It's about enjoying the rubber band. See, the cute little play on words there. The band is a rubber band, and the gentleman they're talking about is actually making music with a rubber band. Okay, so let's get right to the lyrics because it's a little bit long. Not too long. It repeats a lot, but it's a little bit long. Okay, and we talked a little too long for the first half of the program, so let's get to it. Hand me down my walking cane, hand me down my hat. Hurry now and don't be late, 'cause we ain't got time to chat. Chatting means talking with someone. Okay, so his walking cane and his hat. Who uses a walking cane and a hat? It's stylish, especially back these days, 1950s, 1960s. Actually, this didn't come out until 1976, but this band was from the 1950s, 1960s. They lasted into the 70s. So that's stylish. That's what they're talking about, looking classy and stylish. You and me, we're going out, catch the latest sounds, guaranteed to blow your mind so high you won't come down. Okay, so we have a few little sort of slang terms here. When we say catch the latest sounds, catch is like you throw something and someone catches it. No, that's not what we mean. You're not catching anything. It just means to catch something. Like if you say, oh, did you catch that latest movie? It means did you experience it? Did you see the movie? Did you hear the music? Anything like that. Okay, guaranteed to blow your mind. To blow your mind means like, wow. That's what that phrase means. It's amazing. So high, you won't come down. So sometimes we use high to mean something like drugs, like if you're really high. That's not what we mean here. It doesn't mean like drugs. It just means high as in like you're excited about something. And you won't come down means that it's just so great. It's hard to kind of relax after hearing that music. Okay, then we get to the chorus. I mean, the verses are pretty short. So the chorus, hey y'all, prepare yourself for the rubber band man. You've never heard a sound like the rubber band man. You're about to lose control when the rubber band starts to jam. Okay. I just had to stop there. I need to make sure that's the end of the chorus. I forget sometimes because sometimes they'll vary things. But yeah, that's the end of the chorus. So let's go back through that. Hey, y'all. When we say y'all, that's short for you all. It just means hey, everybody. It's not really good grammar, but it kind of sounds cute. We like to say that. I even say it sometimes, and it's mostly meant for the South. That's where that comes from. And I'm not from the South, and even I like to say it sometimes. It's cute to say. But it means, hey, everyone. Hey, y'all. Prepare yourself for the rubber band man. You've never heard a sound like the rubber band man. Okay, nothing difficult there. You're bound to lose control. Bound, when we say you're bound to do something, it means I guarantee this is going to happen. This is certain to happen. So what he's saying is, I know when you hear this guy, you're going to go crazy. He's awesome. He's awesome. You're going to go crazy. You're going to lose control. It means to go crazy. When the rubber band starts to jam. So they're using rubber and band as two different words. The band is the rubber band, okay? When the rubber band starts to jam. Jamming is just when a group starts playing music. Although it can be used in a more specific way when it means that they're just playing kind of just randomly, like to just start playing together. Some musicians are good enough that they could do that. I play a couple different instruments. I haven't played one of them for a long time. I'm not good enough to do that. I can't do that. I can't just jam because, you have to be in the right key and everything like that. So that's a little hard to do. But that's kind of what that means. Just start playing together and making music. Okay, we continue. Oh, this dude is out of sight. Dude just is a like cool way of saying guy, this guy. And when you say he's out of sight, that's an old term that we don't really use very much anymore, but it just means he's great. So this guy's great. Oh, this dude is out of sight. Everything he does seems to come out right. Once I went to hear them play at a club outside of town. I was so surprised I was hypnotized by the sound this cat put down. Okay, most of that's not too difficult, but we got a little tricky there at the end. I was so surprised I was hypnotized. Hypnotized is like when like a certain type of doctor, like a psychologist or something, makes someone almost like semi-unconscious. I don't know how to describe what it's like to be hypnotized. Now, it doesn't specifically mean that. It's being used more in a slang way here. It just means like you're captivated. You're just staring at this guy. You can't believe his performance. So I was so surprised I was hypnotized by the sound this cat put down. Calling someone a cat, again, this is an old term. We don't usually use it anymore. But it's usually talking about a cool guy, and a lot of times it's used with musicians. And when we say put down, he just means he's the sound he's making. So the sound this cat put down, he's talking about this cool guy is making this cool sound with a rubber band. It's crazy. Okay? When I saw this short, fat guy stretch a band between his toes, hey, I laughed so hard because the man got down when it finally reached his nose. All right, so I'm not sure when it finally reached his nose. I'm not sure what he's doing with the rubber band. That's not really clear by those lyrics. But most of that makes sense, right? There's nothing too tricky there. It's a little weird because what's he doing there? But short, fat guy, stretch the rubber band between his toes. Okay, that's fine. And then I laughed so hard because the man got down when it finally reached his nose. How did the rubber band reach his nose? I don't think they mean got down like he got down to reach the rubber band with his nose. I think what they mean by got down, that's another old slang term. It means to make good music. To get down means to make good music. What we might call funky music back then. That's like some good R&B music. That sort of old rock and roll style. So I think that's what it means by got down. He got down. When it says the man got down, I mean he was making music. Okay, then we have the chorus again. Hey, y'all, prepare yourself for the rubber band man. Okay. Now, we don't really have a chorus. Like I said, a verse here next. They kind of change it up. It says, got that rubber band, up on his toes. He nearly wriggled it up all around his nose. So again, we have the toes and the nose. I'm not sure how he gets it there. It says he nearly wriggled it up, so that means you're moving around. But I'm not sure how you're going to get if it's on your toes, I'm not sure how you're going to get it all the way up to your nose just by wriggling around. Seems to me you're going to get it stuck once it gets to the top of your leg. I don't know about that. Anyway, that's what it says. To wriggle around means kind of to move around. So he's wriggling around to get it all the way up around his nose. I'm not sure how he does that. Okay, and then we get a little kind of guaranteed to blow your mind. We talked about that. Playing all that music, just keeping time. Keeping time means that's like what the percussion will do, the drum. It's like keeping the time to the music. You know, like 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, something like that. Okay, Where in the world did he learn that? Oh Lord, huh? Lord, help him get away. And then we get to the chorus. Okay, so where in the world, when you say where in the world, it just means where. But we say where in the world because it's crazy. Like, no one in the world can do this. So that's why we say where in the world did this come from? Did he learn this? Whatever. Whenever we say where in the world, it's for something that's crazy. We're not really asking where he learned it. We're just saying it's crazy. crazy. He's making music with a rubber band. Okay, then it says, Lord, help him get away. I'm not really sure why we're saying, Lord, help him get away. I don't know why we want him to get away, but there's nothing surprising there. Okay, we get the chorus. And then we just kind of get some lines that they throw in here, like how much of this stuff do he think we can stand? Okay, to be able to stand something means you can put up with it. Means when you say how much can you stand, it means it's difficult to deal with it all. Now, in this case, it's actually a kind of a good dealing with something because it's great music, but they're just going so crazy they can't stand it. That's what they're saying there. Okay, and then we have so much rhythm, grace, and debonair from one man. Okay, rhythm, that means he's got, musically. Grace, to have grace means you're kind of cool, calm, smooth. What debonair means like being kind of stylish and classy, that sort of thing. So he's got a lot of rhythm, grace, he's debonair, okay? And then he had nerve to wiggle his left toe. To have the nerve to do something means you kind of have the courage to do something that maybe you shouldn't do. To have the nerve to do something. So it's kind of saying this jokingly here because that's not really courage, but they're just they just, like it said, they can't stand anymore. So he's doing even more stuff now. To his knee, got the feeling in his head. Again, not sure exactly what that line means, but it may be that they say he got the rubber band up to his nose. So they're saying he's wiggling his toe, so he's wiggling again. Wiggle and wriggle are kind of similar. And now it says to his knee, so I'm assuming the rubber band is up to his knee. Okay, then we get the chorus again, and we repeat something we heard before, like you've never heard a sound, like the rubber band man. No, he's my man. Okay, you're bound to lose control. And he likes to jam, so they changed that line a little bit there. It's not the band jamming. It says he likes to jam, but it means the same thing. And then the next line does say when the rubber band starts to jam. Okay, so that is just about it. We have a couple more lines here. It says moving up and down the land. Okay, that just means traveling. Got people all in his ways, so he's lots of people around. Everything about him seems out of place. So he just seems weird, like, because he's short and fat probably, and he's doing all this crazy stuff. So it just seems weird. That's what it means when you say seems out of place. It just doesn't belong. It doesn't seem natural. It seems weird. Just a moving, just a moving, just a move. So he's moving a lot. Yeah. And again, he was short, fat guy. And that's pretty much it. We just repeat Rubber Band Man a couple times. All right, so that is the Rubber Band Man. That's a little bit crazy. We did go through that a little fast because we're running a little late here. So I wanted to finish that up. But that's the Rubber Band Man by the Spinners. It's a fun song. And some songs we do they have some very serious thing behind them. Like our last episode, we did a song which was about a guy's marriage breaking up, and a very kind of angry song. This is just fun. It's about enjoying music. That's it. All right, so that's the Rubber Band Man by the Spinners. A few other songs you may want to check out by the Spinners. These are just their other top 10 songs that I'm going to list for you here. They have like I said, they have a lot more that made the chart that are in the top 100. These are just their top 10, along with the Rubber Band Man that was in their top 10. That got to number 2. I'll Be Around. Could It Be I'm Falling in Love? Then Came You, that's the one they did with Dionne Warwick. Cupid, and Games People Play. And on that list is not Working My Way Back to You. That should have been on the list. I should have repeated that. We mentioned that earlier because that was their other number 2. That got to number 2. So Working My Way Back to You is the other one. All right, so there you go. That's the Spinners with the Rubber Band Man. Thank you for joining us for today's Musical Musings program. Any young people out there who are going to be headed off to university in the near future, please take a look at our university here, Ratchamakan, University of Technology, Peranakan. We have a nice little university here. We are even expanding. We're going to be starting an international program pretty soon. So we are a growing university. We are doing well here. All right, so consider our little university here. Okay, please stay with us and tune back in next week for another great song. Also, don't forget to subscribe to our channel. Thank you.
Musical musings, musical.